Before or after the fight?
Sometimes I need help here doing things. Look, you hold this. Ow! Pull it off. Do that.
That is, you are quite the physical specimen, Rocky.
Give my gloves back. I gotta go see him.
Looking very fit.
I gotta go see him.
Oh, Rocky.
What?
I noticed you're not wearing a mouthpiece. Why?
Not where you know that.
Where is your mouthpiece? Well, why don't you wear it?
I wear a mouthpiece because it muffles my screams.
Okay, well, where, you gonna tell me where it is?
I ate it. It's delicious.
But it was. Let's talk about your fighting. Let's get right into it. Some of your fights. How many fights have you had anyway?
238.
How many of those fights did you lose?
238.
That's not a real good record.
That's pretty consistent. That's a perfect record.
Yeah, that's
That's right. You can't win them all.
You can. What's the first thing you think about when you get in the ring there?
Getting out.
Well, you know, every fighter has somebody that trains them.
Yeah.
Did you have any tutors?
Did I have what?
Tutors.
Kind of depends on what I ate and where they hit me.
No, I mean tutor. Who taught you? Who taught you how to fight?
Apparently nobody.
I mean, there had to be people you learned from, right?
Oh yeah, people I learned stuff from people. That's right.
Well, tell us a little bit about those
Whoa,
people.
there was Jack Dempsey and Joe Lewis and Sugar Ray and Marilyn Monroe and
Marilyn Monroe.
yeah.
Wait a minute. What could you learn from Marilyn Monroe?
A lot more than I did from Sugar Ray and Jack Dempsey and Joe Lewis.
Well, Rocky, let's get into your fight. What's your trickiest punch? You know, a lot of people have.
Yeah, a left hook. See, you didn't know it's coming, did you?
Your left hook, though, what's so tricky about it? It looks like a normal one to
I
me.
use my right hand.
I agree to do this. Yeah, let's talk about some of your specific fights.
No, I know no specific fights. Always on the East Coast. Never fought in a specific.
Well, what was your biggest fight?
World War II.
What about your fight with Sonny Liston? I missed that one.
I wish I had him.
Did Sonny hurt you? I know
Only when he hit me. Only when he hit me.
anything unusual
It
happened?
was kind of unusual in that St. Liston fight. In about the second round, I saw a familiar face in the third row.
Who was it?
Me.
I understand you're getting ready to fight Mike Tyson. Is that right?
Yeah, going to fight Mike.
What's your prediction for the night? You're 0-238.
Well, if that matters, I think it's going to chance of rain and.
That's your prediction?
Yeah, and maybe win from the south line.
No, I mean, what's your prediction for the outcome?
Oh, outcome of the fight. A knockout. Early knockout. Early knockout.
How early?
Early knockout.
How early?
How early? Before the fight, I'm going to sneak up behind him and get him on the head with a club.
Now, that's going to take quite a large club. Have you seen Mike Tyson?
Got about 50 members in my club.
Rocky, you've been fighting in this country for quite a while.
Yeah.
Tell me, you ever fought abroad?
Huh?
No, have you ever fought abroad?
No, you think I'm a sissy or something? It'd be quite embarrassing to get beat up by a girl.
No, I mean,
Unless that one wants to fight. She's been looking at me all night. I could give up boxing and try wrestling if you like.
No, I mean, with you on that
Yeah,
trip?
took mom and dad, my brothers and sisters and 3 kids, my girlfriend, and...
You didn't take your wife with you?
No, I didn't take a wife.
Didn't take your wife?
No.
Why not?
Her and my girlfriend always fight, and they can't get along.
Well, as long as we're talking about family, do you come from a large family there, Rocky?
Oh, there's one's pretty good. Do what?
I said, my goodness, what does your father do?
No.
You're still on the large family?
Yeah, I got a large family. Got about 12 brothers, 13 sisters. Yep.
Yeesh. Now, what does your father do to have that many kids?
I don't know if he does it pretty well. He ought to quit doing it. He does it pretty well. What he does. He ought to stop.
Any of the rest of your family members, the athletes, are they?
Oh, I got one sister. She's a heck of a sport.
What, she's a professional?
Not if she likes the guy.
You ain't supposed to talk about that here.
Well, you asked me.
Well, you do have a wife, though. Tell us about your wife. Everybody wants to do that.
Oh, my wife.
Yeah, tell us about your wife.
Oh, yeah, she's a twin.
Twin.
Yes, she's a twin.
Well, how do you tell the twins apart?
Brother's taller and got a mustache.
Hey, why don't you describe that your wife for them?
Oh, no, wife. She's about this. Right there, that tall. She's about that tall, right there. She's just like a bird, like a bird.
Like a bird?
Oh, yeah.
What exactly do you mean?
Sings like a bird, walks like a bird, looks like a bird, eats like a bird, talks like a bird. She's just like a bird.
Just like a bird?
Yeah.
Well, did she make the trip with you?
No, she ain't here.
She ain't here?
No.
She's not with you
No.
tonight? Well, why not?
Cat hater. Good cat.
I know.
Gotta keep in shape.
I hear tell you're keeping asking about keeping in shape. I hear that you're pretty tough.
You been drinking? That doesn't get what you got.
I hear that you're pretty tough. I hear that you're pretty tough.
Yeah, I'm tough. I can tough. Oh, I can whoop anybody. I'm tough. I can whoop anybody. I got a list. I got a list of all the people I can whoop.
Well, I hope I'm not on your list. Am I on your list?
Yeah, you're on my list. You're on my list.
I don't think you can whip me.
I can't whoop you.
No, you can't whip me.
You're on my list.
Well, it says.
I can't whoop you. Are you
No,
sure?
yeah, I'm positive.
I'll fix that. Mark you off the list.
Rocky,
I can fight her. Oh, no.
what do you usually do after your fights, Rocky?
Hold on, I'm gonna fight her, but now y'all have to hold them others back. I don't want her getting no help.
So, if and you were to fight, what would you do after the fight?
I bleed a lot.
What do you guys think of his footwork? It's pretty fancy, isn't it? Hey, are you showing us a little demonstration of your style?
No, that really ain't fancy footwork. That's just, I gotta go. I think I better go right now. And I'm probably gonna need some help. You wanna come help me?
You're gonna have to sing in the shower together?
There you go. I think I better get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rocky. I tell you, all you do. Tim is still not here, though. Rocky's still looking for somebody to fight. I think
I get the bacon. This one likes it.
Big round of applause for Rocky. Hey, thank you, celebrity. We got any more in the house? Where in the heck is Tim, though? That's what I want to know. Keep eating. Is Tim here? That's pretty good. All right. Well, so that means I get to sing some more. While we're waiting on Tim is on. I don't know if I know this song. What do you say when it's over? Don't know if I should say anything at all. One day we're rolling in the clover. Next thing you know, we take a fall. Still I think about the years since I first met you, and the way it might have been without you here. I don't know if words from me can still upset you, but I've just gotta make this memory stand clear. You know I'm leaving here a better man, knowing you this way. Things I couldn't do before, now I think I can. And I'm leaving here a better man. I don't know if I like this song. This is a leaving song. I just think better. Guess I always knew I couldn't hold you, but I'd never be the one to set you free. Just like some old nursery rhyme your mama told you, you still believe it's so meant to be. Yes, I'm leaving here a better man, knowing you this way. Things I couldn't do before, now I know I can. Yes, I'm leaving here a better man. Yes, I'm leaving here a better man, knowing you this way. Things I couldn't do before, now I know I can. And I'm leaving here a better man. Didn't even get to do another George Strait song. He shows up.
I didn't miss nothing, did I?
Oh, you did. You missed a celebrity.
A celebrity? Who come to see you?
Rocky.
Rocky?
Rocky, man.
I knew Rocky when he was just pebbles. Gotta look at them folks. It's good to be here.
So I see you dressed up all Texan for us, Tim.
Well, I put a tie on.
Well, how you been?
I've just been wondering, just as frisky as a flea on a fuzzy hound. I mean, just happy as a chick on a fat dog. Yeah, happy like a short cow in tall clover.
Whoa. I understand some of that. A short cow and tall. Is that a Texas thing?
Well, that's just a cow thing.
What makes that cow happy?
Oh, you don't know. You ain't from the country, are you? Yankee City boy. Well, I said happy it's a short cow in tall clover. You see, first you have to understand it's a cow in clover. Now, cows like clover, one of their most favorite foods. So if a cow's in clover, that's a happy cow.
Okay.
And I reference you to the fact that it was a short cow in tall clover. Well, see, that makes the cow even happier because it don't even have to bend over to eat the clover. It just walks through it and just chomps it head level. That's a happy cow. And on top of that, even more, I reference you back to where you going. I reference you back to the fact that it was a short cow and the clover was tall. So if the cow walks through the clover, a chomping at clover, that clover, that's a short cow and tall clover, that clover tickles her udders and she likes that. And that's a happy cow, you know.
Just like pulling on four, like pulling on a cow,
You
right?
won't have a happy cow because you get them mad cows, they'll get mad cow disease. You have to keep your cows happy. That's right. Yeah, you know, we have a lot of cows down there. We milk them. We've got a dairy farm. That's what we got. Got a dairy farm down there. You thought milk come from a grocery store, didn't you? Come to think of it, is that what you? No, see, we got dairy farms, and the neighbors, they're in the dairy business too. You know, neighbors dairy bit, but I think they moved down from up north. They ain't real sharp. They ain't real going on. They used to come in the other day. It was Tommy Upulum. That was his name. The Upulum's family.
Tommy, you pull him. I can't wait to hear this one.
They're the man. But he come to me one day. He said, "Tim, how's y'all dairy farm doing?" I said, "We doing pretty good. Now, we ain't getting millionaires, but we doing pretty good. You know, cows are happy, clover's tall." He said, "I don't know what's going on." He said, "I ain't having much success over here." He said, "Mine ain't doing so good." I said, "Well, what's wrong?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "We're going broke." He said, "How many cows you got?" I said, "Oh, we got about 75, 80. He said, "Man, I'm milking 100 head of cow and I'm losing money." So I said, "You doing what?" He said, "I'm milking 100 head of cow and losing money." I said, "There's your problem right there. That you're on the wrong end of the cow. You either got to move to the back or turn the cow around. You're milking 100 head, you will go broke." Some city boys. And then he said to make it worse than USDA people, that's not United Square Entrance. That's the Department of Agriculture. They comes by and checks on your cows. And they check your vats and your tanks and your milk and see, can you sell it if it's grade A or grade B or whatever that, you know. They said we come by and they check the tanks, you know, they check for things like fat content. They checking for the vitamin D and checking the protein count and stuff like this in the milk. He says, you know, and mine just have trouble. Next thing you know, they're always telling the protein counts. They're saying protein counts low down. Protein, got to change the feed or something. He says, "Do you have that problem?" I told him, "No, I don't have that problem." We did years ago one time. Somebody told me, "I don't have that problem." He said, "What do you do about that? You change feed?" I said, "No, just about every once a week when we're milking the cows, we run a couple of bulls through the milking line. Protein count comes right up. That's that grade A milk." It's like over here saying, "I don't want any milk." Like I said, next day you go out early in the morning trying to gather up all the cows, line them up for milk, and bulls are in line. They're waiting there at the gate ready to go. Yeah, we did a good on milking. You know, I even wrote a song one time about. I wrote a song about our cows and the milk. We had a special. Let me see what I got. I just might sing those songs.
Aren't these Ohio people nice, though? Give yourselves a big hand. You didn't know he was this country, did you? No, some of you did, didn't you?
All right, we're going to get flyers, aren't you? You got the Ohio people here, all Ohio. We have had so much fun here. They're so nice to us.
Sure have.
They have. It's just wonderful. Got me this big, nice room and motel to stay in. I come in.
I know.
Oh, it was lovely. It was nice. I checked in down there. The people were so. I asked them. I said, "Oh man," I said, "It's aggressive. Can we take pictures?" They said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." I took 2 out of the room, 1 out of the lobby. I think my wife would like it. I asked them. They said, I asked if I could take pictures. They said I could. I took 2 out of the room, 1 out of the lobby. I think my wife would like it. You ought to see in the room. The towels are so big and thick and fluffy. The pillows are big and fluffy. I couldn't hardly get my suitcase closed.
You're gonna make Sissy happy.
Oh, Sissy. Oh, yeah, Sissy. That's right. Yeah. I'm gonna sing you this song right there.
Yeah, we'll find out how your family's doing there.
Can I use yours? 1, 2. Okay. This is a serious story now, because that's the kind of guy I am, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
I've been across the nation many times now. Well, I've been east to west and north to south as well. And you know, I've been taking a lot of ribbon and letting people do their fibbing. But there's one thing I've got to tell. Thank you, sir. Well, way down in old Gregg County out in East Texas, you know, they was 13 children born on a farm. Now they made doctors, lawyers, preachers, policemen, farmers, and school teachers. But me, I'm the one who likes to yarn. Everybody and I said, "Pass the udder over to my udder brother. Pass the udder this way." And so we passed the udder, even passed it to my mother. Oh boy, we had our hands full every day. Now they say that things grow big up in Alaska, but let me tell you, there ain't nothing in that state can quite compare to this cow that we once had us. The name of her was Gladys. Boy, you ought to seen all the neighbors stand and stare. Cause she stood 10 feet tall and had one purple eyeball. And it took 9 of us to milk her. Here's why. Cause she had 27 spigots, and the tourists, they all bought tickets just to watch us milk and hear us loudly cry. And we say, oh, pass the udder over to my udder brother. Pass the udder this way. And so we passed the udder, and I passed it to my brother. And boy, we had our hands full every day. And it went like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we created quite a spectacle, that I'll grant you. But still we milked her just as pretty as you please. And all the folks all said, how funny. We made enough darn money that we bought ourselves some brand new BVDs. When our father turned her on her back one Sunday morning, and Gladys looked up and said, hey, I'm upside down. Now what's the gag? Well, the reason why I said pop is so the cream will be on top. And Gladys said, in that case, it's in the bag. And we'd all sing, pass the udder over to my udder brother. Pass the udder is the way. And so we passed the udder, and I passed it to my brother. Boy, we had our hands full every day. Now Gladys, she was quite a star in cattle circles, although she could not read nor write her name in full. But you would think she'd been to college, although she herself would acknowledge that she gained her fame entirely by pull. Now Gladys came to us one cold December morning. She said, milking is the thing I dearly love. She said, but when I get a cold, it lingers, and I don't like icy fingers. So go in the house, y'all get yourself a glove, and we'd all say, pass the udder over to my udder brother. Pass the udder this way. Pat you sing it. And I pass the udder over to my udder brother. Boy, we had our hands full every day. Swish, swish, swish. Boy, we had our hands full every day. All right, Gladys, we're through now. Whoa! You asked about dairy farming.
My fault. Now,
Because you asked why I had the cows in tall clover.
how much trouble am I going to get in by asking about your family?
Well, I don't ask about my family.
Well, I noticed Sissy's not here. I wanted to see Sissy.
No, Sissy's wife's not here. They said that's my wife, Sissy. She's not
Y'all
here.
know Sissy, right? Anybody don't know Sissy?
I hope nobody knows her.
Man.
They might talk to her and tell her things. Of course, I go home, when I go home from trips, I tell her, I said, now you understand, honey, these sport injuries around the country are notorious liars. Whatever they can post. Sport injuries are just known notorious liars everywhere you go. You just can't believe the thing they say. But she's doing all right. She can still argue and she can still shop, so she's okay.
Well, I hear you've been married like coming up on 40 years.
40 years, maybe 40 years, this June 18th.
Impressive.
40 years. I guarantee you. I think she's lucky that she is.
Well, now that you're here, you miss her cooking?
I miss her cooking every chance I get. I guarantee you. Stopped in a restaurant the other day. They came in there. They said, "We got home cooking here." And I got up and left. I said, "Home cooking? I know. My wife can burn water."
Oh, I'm sure you miss her though.
Every chance I get. I mean, the cooking.
Yeah. Now, after 40 years, you know a lot about your wife, right?
Oh, that's what makes 40 years last. You got to learn about your spouse, and you got to learn what she likes and don't likes, and you got to learn what to say and what not to say, and just to, I'm still alive in here, so I do pretty good, But you have to learn things about your wife.
Well, like things like what? Like what her favorite flower? What's
Yeah,
her
yeah,
favorite flower?
yeah. You got like her favorite flower. I know her favorite flower. I know my wife's favorite flower. Her favorite flower is Martha White Self-Rising. Last Valentine, I bought her a 10-pound bag. She was so excited, she could hardly speak. Yeah, I know her that. In fact, sometimes, and things you other do to make it last is, I do romantic things.
Oh, absolutely. Like what?
Well, like sometimes I write poetry for her.
Really?
Oh yes, I'm a poet. I write poetry for her.
And what kind of poetry?
Well, love poetry. Well, I'm inspired by what I see, inspired by what happens. Like, for example, we live out in the country, you understand. We've got a big lake out behind the house. And Sissy, now she likes to fish. And like a lot of women, she also likes to have a good, nice tan and be tanned and bronzed, whatever. And she's a good multitasker. So when she likes to go down to the lake, go fishing, she'll fish in the nude. She has a lot of neighbors volunteer to help her dig worms. But she likes to fish in the nude. You know, the other way she gets to fish, she likes to fish, and she gets to work on that tan all at the same time. And one day I was up there, I'm looking down at the lake, and I seen her fishing in the nude, and it touched me, touched my heart. It inspired me. So I wrote a little poem about her.
All right. A
romantic poem. Said Sissy was naked as a jaybird when she come running up from the lake. She was waving her arms like a woman gone wild, yelling something about a big snake. She jumped up in the cab of my truck, said, Tim, go down there and get my clothes. She says they're down there by that bucket of gizzards with my snuff and my fishnet hose. Well, I pretended I couldn't find them as I just walked up and down the shore. I guess she didn't think that's funny, and I looked back, my truck wasn't there no more. I waited for a while, and then when she didn't come home, I had to walk on home because she didn't come back. So I had to walk on home, but I couldn't help but laugh when I heard that she got arrested for driving with nothing but the radio on. Well, poem by TBT, Esquire. Oh, I think 40 years. That's what it is. 40 years.
40 years. You have kids, right?
I've got 4. She's got 4. I got 4 that I know of. Yeah, we got kids.
How many boys and girls?
How many boys? Yeah, they're boys and girls. That's what we got. Boys and girls, yeah. Yeah, they're all boys except for the girl.
Are there other choices?
Back then there wasn't. Nowadays, that's a different story.
Are they pretty good looking, Tim, or do they look like you?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't supposed to say that.
That wasn't nice. No, they're pretty good looking kids, yeah. Pretty good looking kids.
They look like you?
Two of them look like the milkman. One of them looks like the postman. One of them looks a lot like the pool boy.
Pool boy?
You know, and I got the other day, that's another fight we had the other day. I had to fire the pool boy. He had to go. I had to fire him to get rid of him. And she just got all mad. Can you believe it? She got all mad. She said, well, you're just insecure. You are. She says, just because we got some young, buffed up man down here running around, not much clothes on, bronze and tan and everything, you think you just got to get rid of him. You got to fire him. I said, no, honey, it wasn't that. It's just that we ain't got no pool. Yeah.
Now, after 40 years, though, you learn a lot about each other. You got to kind of work in things, right?
Well, you got to work at things. That's right.
And you got to
Well, you know,
you learn what they like, what they don't like. You respect their privacy, right?
That's right. Well, that's another fight we had the other day. She come up, she told me, after 40 years of marriage, imagine it, 40 years of marriage, I'm thinking that thing's going to go off and squirt me in the face or something. After 40 years of marriage, can you imagine? She told me, she says, Tim, she said, I don't respect her privacy. She told me I don't respect her privacy.
She told you that?
She didn't really come right out and say it. I read it in her diary. Made me mad. But sometimes I told you I'm romantic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really romantic. Besides doing things like knowing her favorite flower and writing poetry and stuff like that, I wrote her a love song here a while back.
Oh, man, I'll bet you we'd all like to hear that. If it's anything like Udder,
Well, that's going to be kind of hard to top, When you start out with a number 1, it's just you got nowhere to go. Well, let me see. See if I got this song. I wrote her a love song. Just because I love her so much, Let's see what we got here.
I had no choice but to be the straight man. You just wind Tim up and let him go. It's like a karaoke machine.
Well, let's play it. Yeah, I wrote this for her to tell her how much I love her because she thought I didn't respect her privacy and she's thinking I didn't love her. So I had to do something that would touch her heart. A song from the heart. So she'd know how I feel. I wrote this for her. Well, you say that I don't love you. You think my love ain't true. But if I was a rich man, honey, Well, I could prove my love to you. I'd buy you a brand new Cadillac and a new Mercedes too. If my nose was running money, honey, I'd blow it all on you. If my nose was running money, I'd buy you diamond rings and furs. I'd buy you anything just for you. Oh yes, I said. If you a mansion, I'd build a mansion on a mountain top. If my nose was running money, but it's not. Well, if my nose was running money, honey, let me tell you what I'd do. I'd buy a John Deere tractor and we'd get rid of that old gray mule. Then you wouldn't have to be plowing barefoot like you always do, because I'd take you down to Walmart and I'd buy you some brand new shoes, yeah. Well, if my nose was running money, honey, you could have anything you please. Anytime you needed cash, all I'd have to do is sneeze. We'd be living high on the hog, and the hog wouldn't be so lean. If my nose was running money, we'd be rolling in the green. If my nose was running money, honey, I'd blow it all on you. I'd buy you diamond rings, a new fur coat, and new diamonds too. I'd buy you a brand new Cadillac and a new Mercedes too. If my nose was running money, honey, I'd blow it all on you. But honey, it's a booger of a problem that I got. I wish my nose was running money, but it's not. If it was, I'd buy you a Cadillac and a new Mercedes too. And if my nose was running money, I'd just blow it all on you. If my nose was running money, I'd just blow it all on you. That came from the heart. Sung that to her, you see.
Tim, you're a full-time caller, right? Traveling caller?
Well, I guess I'm a full-time caller. You can.
Are you a professional caller?
Well, full-time. You can call me up at any time of the day or night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and say, Tim, are you a caller? And I'll say yes. So I guess I'm a full-time caller. Anytime you call me and ask me if you're a caller, I say yes.
So would you consider yourself a professional?
Well, I do profess to be a caller.
Oh, man. So you ever been to Ohio before?
Traveling caller. Yeah, I travel a lot. But you call like me, you have to travel. If you go one place, you can't go back there. You got to go somewhere else. The longer you call, the circle gets bigger and bigger. Been to Ohio before? Well, no, Ohio, the only state in the nation that starts with an O. Ohio.
I think there's Oregon.
Oregon. Oh, well, except for Oregon, the only state in the nation that starts with an O is Ohio and Oregon. Oklahoma. Well, except for Oklahoma and Oregon, the only state in the nation starts with an O. Round on both ends, high in the middle, Ohio. Been a great place to be. I've noticed a lot of historical stuff up here in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw there's an aviation museum down here not too far from here somewhere or another. Had them flying things.
Oh, yeah, Wright Patterson, right down the road, Dayton.
Wright Patterson.
Well,
We got a lake back home called Wright Patterson Reservoir. How come y'all got that up here? He was a Texas congressman. Well, but I saw that aviation museum. That was pretty cool, you know.
It is cool.
You know, I had some relatives.
You know, that's where the Wright brothers were.
Wright brothers, right?
Right, yeah, they're Wright brothers.
I thought they were down in North Carolina or somewhere.
Oh, no. You know about the Wright brothers?
They were from here. Well, you know, I got some kinfolk from Ohio up here that was in the aviation business. Had some kinfolk up here. Had my Uncle Wilbur and Uncle Orville. Uncle Wilbur and Orville, they were up here in this area. Kinfolk.
That ain't the Wright brothers.
Oh, I didn't say right. Oh, what is my Uncle Wilbur Hall?
They're from here.
Yeah, Wilbur Hall and Orville Balls. That was their name. Uncle Orville.
Wait,
Wilbur Hall, Wilbur Balls.
Wilbur Hall.
Orville Hall and Wilbur Balls.
Orville Hall.
He was Uncle Orville
Wilbur Balls.
Wilbur Balls. Yeah, they started the very first. You know, they started the first. They didn't fly the first plane, but they started the first commercial airline carrying passengers around. They thought they saw Mars. They formed this thing, and it was Uncle.
Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that?
Orville Hall, Wilbur Hall. They formed this airline. It was called the Hall and.
I don't think you can say that.
Hall and Wilbur Airlines. Uncle Wilbur thought since his name comes second, he'd put his first name. It's the Hall and Wilbur Airlines, first commercial. Yeah, and my cousin, I had a cousin up here, and she was the first waitress or whatever they have on them airplanes.
They call them flight attendants now.
Flight attendant, back then they don't. Yeah, she's my cousin. She was the first flight attendant. She's the one that coined the phrase, coffee, tea, or me. Her name was Manita.
Manita.
Manita 5, please. Manita 5, please. We called her Little Mo for short.
But, Little Mo Thigh.
Little Mo Thigh, please. Yeah, she was the first one in the...
Little Mo Thigh, please.
Yeah. Anything else you want to know about
That's
me?
a moaner. No. Okay, so you got the relatives, Wilbur, and all that junk, man. And Square Dance calling. Square Dance calling. How much money you make? You get any?
Wait a minute, somebody's clothes are laying up here.
Well, that's... Ooh. Rocky left his...
Oh my gosh.
All right, so... What now? What do you think? Do you like to fly? Do you fly? Do you drive every place?
I drove up here.
You drove?
I drove up here. I don't mind flying. I don't like to fly. I'm not a flyer. I don't like to fly. I fly a little bit. I don't mind flying about once a year. Gives me time to catch up on my drinking and my praying. But you know, the first couple of times I fly, that just kind of turned me off of flying. You know, first time I flew, I had to go down there to Pensacola, Florida. I was going down there to Pensacola.
You Pensacola.
Well, one of them colas, I don't know, it might be Coca-Cola Beach or Pepsi-Cola, Florida, or something. I don't know what them colas. I'm flying down there, and you know, and I never flown before, and I got on this plane and got on there, and it was a big long thing, and that waitress again, she came up there and tell us stuff, sit down, we sat, we was waiting for a flight, and finally I decided there's something I should have done before I got on the plane that I didn't do, and I asked that waitress, I said, do y'all have a restroom on this plane? She said, yes, sir, we got one at the front and one at the back. So I got up and I walked to one of them, and I opened the door and walked in. Then I realized I backed out and turned around and backed in, so I could be business. My clothes is bigger than that. So I got in there and closed the door and was going about that, and been there a few minutes, and I got up to go back. And about the time I stood up, this little bell went bing. This little light come on, said, return to seat, please. So I did. You know that light didn't go off till we got plumb to Pepsi-Cola, Florida. I said, when I finally got off that plane, I couldn't hardly walk. My leg was nothing. I think I had what they call jet lag. I think I had that jet lag. I didn't get off that plane. I did not get flying, but well, that's just one time. You have one bad experience. So I decided, I flew again one time. Was going out west.
That one didn't cure you.
Yeah, no, I was going out there, but that's what scared me. Now, I live in a little bitty town out in kind of country, so I had to catch this little plane here so they would take me to the big airport. I got on this little plane there and sat down there, and this waitress again, she come down through there talking to all of us, and she come by and she's talking to the guy. She looked at me with her little clipboard, and she said, excuse me, sir, how much do you weigh? I said, why do you need to know? She said, oh, we have to know the weight of everybody on the plane, so we know how much fuel to take on. I said, good gosh, fill it up. I said, here, you got my credit card. I fill it up. I said, I weigh 398 pounds. I don't look it, but I'm solid. I look back behind us, I think, my gosh, I'm going to die. I got some 485-pound fat lady go here and lie about her weight. They will. Fill it up. They don't know how much I weigh. So we got to Dallas. And Dallas, that's where the big airport is, you see. I'm flying, and I wasn't real upset about it till we got on there and they start making all these instructions and announcements and telling you things. Yeah, I got on there and got in the seat there. And first of all, I'm on a flight. We're going from Dallas to Phoenix, Arizona. I want you to keep that in mind now. We're going from Dallas to Phoenix. And we get on there sitting down. The first thing she comes on and she says something about may I have your attention, please? She says, in the event of a water landing. Dallas to Phoenix. I'm thinking this must not be a direct flight. Between Dallas and Phoenix, ain't not enough water to float a canoe. But just the fact that she said, in the event of a water landing. And I think, landing? If we come down in the water, I'm pretty sure it's not a landing. It's a crash. I didn't see no pontoons on the bottom of this plane. What would entice a water landing? Oh, well, they're just flying along and, co-pilot to pilot, what's that down there I see? Is that the Swedish bikini team on the beach? Let's just land and take a look. No, that was, if we go in the water, it's not a landing, it's a crash. In the event of water landing, but in the event of water landing, your seat bottom becomes a flotation device. I said, in the event of a water landing, my seat becomes a toilet, just almost immediately. Guarantee you. Or, in the event of a water landing, your seat becomes a flotation. Oh, this is great, I'm going to die. We're going to see a magic show first. It's a flotation device. That's a float. If you can make the seat into a flotation device, why don't you just turn the plane into a boat? plane, I won't sit. I asked him, I said, where's that little black box y'all got? I said, I won't sit by it because you can crash a plane into a mountain, burn up, they'll still go find that little black box, you know. I said, I don't know what they build that little black box out of. They ought to build the whole plane out of that stuff. Then you'd crash into a mountain, and the mountain would crumble, and the plane would just go on. That's that black. But just in the event of a water landing. Yeah. And then they start saying, he says, now, in the event of an emergency, we have 6 exits on the plane. There's 2 in the front, and 2 on the side, and 2 in the back. I said, in the event of an emergency, there's going to be an exit right here. Where'd you like another one at? I said, we can tell you what. And they said, she said the cabin, they call it a cabin. Back home, it's got to be made out of logs to be a cabin. But in the cabin there, they said we're pressurized, and I guarantee you there's a lot of pressure in that cabin when I was there. She said it's pressurized, and should we have an event that we lose pressure, and she held up this little parquet buttercup thing. Says, these little oxygen masks will fall from the ceiling, and you should take yours and place it over your face first before you help anyone else. That's one thing she didn't have to tell me. I guarantee you that could have gone without saying. I guarantee you I'm going to put mine on first before anybody. She put yours on first and said, then continue to breathe normal. Honey, you just said we had adversity. If you can breathe normal at that point, you ain't normal. Normal breathing at that point is about 3 breaths per second. I sound like a dog panting. In the event of it, put your mask on first. Then they got the seatbelt. You want to take the seatbelt and you click it like this too, and you click it like this too. Now, I'm from the country, but I could have got that figured. If I couldn't have clicked it, I'd have tied it in a knot. I'd have got it on there. And you know why they got them seat belts in the first place? They ain't I hate to sound morbid, but them seat belts ain't never saved nobody in a plane crash. What it does is for the rescuers, they don't want to have to go hunting over 25 acres of a mountain in a cornfield looking for bodies. It keeps everybody all gathered up together. That's for their convenience. That ain't their safety. I got that figured out. I know why they're doing that.
You ain't no dummy.
I know. When I got on the plane, the first thing I do is I go to the far back. I get the very last back seat. I mean, I figure if we are going to have a crash, there's no use being the first one to the scene of us. And I ain't never heard no plane backing into a mountain. So I figured that seat at the back, that's where I go. But no, I don't fly much. I like to drive.
So you don't fly that much.
No, I don't fly that much. I don't like to fly.
It scares everybody.
Yeah, I don't like to fly. I go some places.
Where's some of the places you've been?
Where's some places I've been? I've been to the bathroom. I did that a while ago. What's that bell ringing? You know, talk about going places. I do get to go a lot of places. I get to travel, and you know, you asked about calling a while ago and traveling call. I get to travel and go a lot of places, and that's like Ohio. That's one of the great things about it. You meet a lot of great people, even if they are notorious liars.
See a lot of neat things.
You see a lot of neat things, and go where your relatives being, like Uncle Orville and Uncle Wilbur. It's proud to be here. Been a lot of places. Get to call all over. But you know, it don't matter where you go call at. Everywhere you go call, it seems like there's always some guy there. It's just always messing with you. It don't matter what you call it. It's too fast. It's too slow. It ain't tough enough. I want more. Give me more. He just somebody bothering you everywhere you go. Yeah, in fact, I wrote a song about that.
It's amazing.
There was one old feller. He just, no matter what we did, he was always there. And at dances all over, I could go East Coast, West Coast. It didn't matter. And there he was. And I just had to write a song about him because. Hey, who knows? Some of y'all might know the little boy, you know, because he travels all over the place. You never know where he might show up at. And his name is Jay Scamahorn. Anybody know Jay?
Yeah.
You never know.
I told you we were watching you there, Jay.
Yeah, he's always. Let's see what we got here. So Jay, he was in Texas, he was in Nebraska, he was in Ohio, he was in anywhere I go, there Jay shows up there. So I sat home one night, I was touched in the heart. I wrote a song about Jay, but I ain't ready for it yet. So I didn't mash one of the buttons here, I got to mash. The light's going to come on and say, return to seat. Well, I'm not too big, too tall or fat. I was born in Texas, I'm proud of that. And I'm a square dance caller like all you folks know. And I make my living just a booking dates and a calling dances all around the states. And you know, there ain't any place that I won't go. Well, I travel north to south and east to west. I always call and try to do my best. But oh, Jay's there from Oregon to Tennessee. He's always there just to pester me from Oregon down to Tennessee. And I thought, like this, you see. Well, I called a dance down at Iowa, and I had to drive through ice and snow all day, but we had about 50 squares or more. Well, old Jay walked up, and I knew he would. He said, "Brother, let me tell you for your own good." He said, "This here group likes hash at 154. That's beats per minute, that's fast." So I called them fast, called them long, but deep inside I felt all wrong. I'd much rather call a smoother dance than flow. But I figured, oh well, they're the ones that pay. So I revved the speed up all the way, took a breath, said to myself, here goes. I called a Dixie, Daisy, and a split square through, and divide the clutch with a Susie Q to an alley mode, cast off once and a half, and a course swirl out, and a U-turn back, and I was killing them off and just running to death. Old Jay, he come up out of breath and said, "Son, when you gonna let that hammer down?" Well, then I called a dance down in West Palm Beach. It was a high-level group way out of my reach. Had to drive all day to get there, you know. And old Jay come up and said, "You ought to hear me call, boy. Don't throw me long to shut down the hall." And that's what he wanted one time, you know. Well, then I called a dance out in West Palm Beach, Arkansas. I said, "Get your honey, get your tall. I'm going to walk you through a brand new call." But old Jay walked up with his tongue in his cheek. He said, "Is that new?" I said, "Boy, we did it last week." He said, "You traveling callers best get on the ball." Old Jay, he didn't do the dance very well, but boy, you should sure hear him yell each time he heard me call Left Alley Man. Well, he didn't do the dance too well, and that's where I should have called his hand, but he did some more, and he told me to call him, and I cut him loose. Here goes. I see you doing all ain't chained, and it ain't chain through, and a pair all made, and a grand chain through, and a chain down the line with a curly cross, and a Dixie split, and a twirl right back, calling them all when I'm running to death. And old Jay looks up out of breath and says, "Son, when you gonna let that hammer down?" Well, I'm killing them all, and running to death, and I was getting all out of breath. And he walked up and said, "Son, is that all you got?" Well, I'm just killing them off and running to death. And old Jay comes up all out of breath and says, "Son, when you gonna let that hammer down?" So I called a Dixie, Daisy, and a split square through, and divide the clutch with a Susie Q to an alley mode, cast off once and a half, and a curly cross out, and a U-turn back. All eight chained and an eight chain through, and a pair all fade and a grand chain through. Cross twirl out and an alley mode, cast off once and a half, you know. Well, the men start right and the girls turn back and turn that. Let it go round the track, you're the alley man Thor in the right hand star, turn a gun and promise they go around, run them to death, killing them off. And old Jay come up right out of breath and said, "Son, when you gonna let that hammer down?" When I get home in a few weeks, old Jay will probably be down there.
Well, Tim, what are some of the other places you've been?
You mean
I know you don't like to come up north when
don't like
it's
to,
in
but I
the
come
winter.
No, but I came up north here a while back. I got some kinfolk up north. I went to Sheboygan.
Oh, Wisconsin.
Is that where it is? I don't know, Sheboygan. You know, my kinfolk up there, I got a aunt and uncle up there, Sherman and Sharman Simpson. They have a business up there in Sheboygan. Sherman Simpson. You know, there's a lot of
Sharman?
Yeah, Sherman and Sharman Simpson in Sheboygan. There's a lot of sheep up there. That's people think about that, but there's a lot of sheep up in that area, and sheep stuff, and sheep farmers. And yeah, we have dairies, we milk cows. They have sheep farmers up there in Sheboygan. My aunt and uncle Sherman and Sharon Simpson in Sheboygan, they got business up there. They got the Sheboygan sheep shed. No, it's the sheep, because these people that raise these sheep, a lot of times they contract things out, don't do them themselves, and they take them, because them sheep get shaggy. When you get them shaggy sheep, you got to shear them shaggy sheep, take that sheep, and they go into Sherman and Sharon Simpson's sheep shearing shed. It's called the Sheboygan sheep shearing shed. That's what they do, Simpson's Sheboygan sheep shearing shed. Them farmers take them shaggy sheep down to the sheep shearing shed to have them sheep sheared.
They have the sheep sheared.
They have the sheep sheared, that's right. So they take all them farmers, they'll take them shaggy sheep up there to Sharman, Sharon Simpson in the Sheboygan sheep shed, take them shaggy sheep in. Their kids, they got Shane and Shaney and Shannon and Sharon and all them, they help, and Sarah and all them, the kids, they help. They're the sheep, yeah. Well, Shane and Shaney, they're the sheep shearers. They shear the sheep. You take them shaggy sheep to the Sheboygan sheep shed, take them in there, and Shaney and Shannon, they go in there and they shear them sheep. They shear them sheep, them shaggy sheep.
Well, you talk about shearing. What do they actually shear the sheep with?
Sheep shears.
Sheep shears.
Sheep shears.
Of course. What kind of sheep shears?
Very sharp sheep shears. You take these, them farmers, they take them in Sheboygan, they'll go to Sheridan, Charmin, Simpson, Sheboygan Sheep Shed, and they'll take them shaggy sheep in there to be sheared, and Shane and Shandy, they'll go in there with them shearing sharp sheep shears, and they'll shear them shaggy sheep. And when they shear them shaggy sheep, there's sheep shearings all over the floor. They'll be shin deep in sheep shearings just all over the floor up there. That's right. You can do it anytime you want to. Sheboygan Sheep Shed.
Sheboygan Sheep Shed.
That's right. But you know, even though they shear them shaggy sheep and them shorn sheep, when they get them shaggy sheep shorn, them shorn sheep there, and all that sheep shavings is all on the floor with the shin out there, there's still a little bit of fuzz left on them sheeps.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's valuable stuff. You know, they sell that, so they got to get that little bit of fuzz off there.
How do they get that fuzz?
They take it next door to the sheep shaving shed. They take the sheep shaving shed, and they take them shorn.
So they shear them first, then they.
That's right. They shear them first, and they take them shorn sheep to the sheep shaving shed. They shave them shorn sheep, and get them shavings off there. It's a little bit worth. It's very valuable. You know, you can't live on it.
And who does that?
Oh well, that's Shaney and Sharon. Shaney and Sharon do the sheep. They're the sheep shavers. Yeah, Shaney and Sharon Simpson. That's Charmin and Charmin Simpsons. It's Sheboygan Sheep Shed. That's their daughters, and they shave them. They shave them shaggy sheep in the sheep shaving shed because they're the sheep shavers.
Okay, so you got the shear. You shear the sheep with sharp.
You shear the sheep with sharp shears, and take them shorn sheep to the sheep shaving shed, so you can shave them shorn sheep.
Exactly. But what do you shave? What do you shave the sheep?
With a sheep shaver.
Of course. Where would we get a sheep shaver?
From Chick.
Sheep
Sheep shaver. You get a sheep shaver, and then they bring them shaggy sheep to the Charmin, Simpsons, Sheboygan Sheep Shaving Shed. They shear them with the very sharp shears. They shear them shaggy sheep, and then they get that sheep shaving shearings all over the floor. And then they take them shorn sheep to the sheep shaving shed. Over the sheep shaving shed, they get them sheep shavers, and Shane and Sharon, they get there and they shave them shorn sheep and get them sheep shavings off. And then there's sheep shavings all over the floor, shin deep.
Do all the kids work there?
Well, almost. There's Shaney and Sharon and Shaney and Shannon. There's one Sarah. Sarah's the entrepreneur of the family. She saw a market in the business here, so she didn't get in the sheep shearing or the sheep shaving business. She went downtown and started a Sheboygan shoe shine shop. Because she realized that all them sheep shearings and all them sheep shavings and all that sheep shaving stuff on the floor was going to make everybody's shoes not very shiny. People like shiny shoes, so she went downtown to Sheboygan shoe shine shop, so people swing them not shiny shoes down there and have their shoes shined at Sheboygan shoe shine shop. That's what Sarah does. At the Sheboygan shoe shine shop.
Sorry, I asked.
In fact, Sarah, like I said, she's the entrepreneur of the man. I wrote a little song about Sarah. I don't got no money. I don't got no music on this, so we got to sing it a cappella. That's like they sing it. I think in a cappella. You what?
That's in Mexico.
Yeah, and they don't have no instruments down there, so when you sing with no instruments, they just call it singing a cappella because that's what they do. It's a professional term. Amateurs like you wouldn't understand. But Sarah on the sheep shaving shearing farm, when she was there, you know, she was the youngest of the bunch, little kid. They'd all be out shaving sheep and shearing sheep and doing sheep stuff, and she'd be playing. And she liked to do things, and like where they lived out in the country, it wasn't, it was in the country back then. They had the little shed, in the Sheboygan shed, out back. And out back in this shed, and Sarah, when she was a young girl, she liked to go out there on the shed and play on the shed. And she'd hang on the shed house door, and she'd swing on the shed house door. And when we'd all say, Sarah, swinging on the shed house door, Sarah, swinging on the shed house door, and all day long she swings and says she sits and swings all day long, because Sarah, swinging on the shed house door. And this is a family show, there's no dirty words in this, keep it that way.
I see a problem coming.
Well, as Sarah got a little older, she got tired of swinging on the shed house door, and she went down. It wasn't very far down the road, but the county had a gravel pit where they dug gravel to get gravel for the roads in the county right there. I just need to get the whistle. So, after she got through the shed house, got a little older, where she could walk away from the farm, she went down to the gravel pits where they dug gravel at the county roads, and all day long she'd just be in that pit playing, and she'd sit in the pit, she'd sit, Sarah, she was sitting in the gravel pit, Sarah, sitting in the gravel pit, and all day long in the pit, she sits in the pit all day long, Sarah, sitting in the gravel pit. But as she got older, and again, she's an entrepreneur, she decided she'd got to get a job, go earn some money, get something out. Not too far from the farm, besides shearing sheep and shaving sheep up there was a shipyard. Not far. It just happened to be a brick shipyard. And Sarah went down and got her a job at that brick shipyard. And in a brick shipyard, just all day long, you ship and you brick and you brick and you ship. And we said, Sarah, work in the brick shipyard. Hey, Sarah, work in the brick shipyard. And all day long, she bricks and ships. She ships and bricks all day long. Sarah, work in the brick shipyard. But you know, she didn't want to work in the brick shipyard all her life. Right? So with all the money she saved up, she decided she'd educate herself and go to school. And she went to cosmetology school.
Oh, like beauty.
Like beauty, yeah, cosmetology. You learn things. You learn things like doing nails and filing. You learn things about hair, parting. You can file and you can part. You part and file. And Sarah, she's working in a beauty shop. Hey, Sarah, working in a beauty shop. And all day long she files and parts. She parts and files all day long. Sarah, working in a beauty shop. But you know, at the brick shipyard in the beauty shop, she saved up a lot of money. She took that money she had and she went out and bought her a car. Guess what kind she bought?
Oh boy.
A Chevrolet.
Chevrolet.
With a stick shift.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she bought her car, she bought her a Chevrolet with a stick shift. And she just sits in that Chevrolet and shifts and sticks and that sticks. And she just sits in that Chevrolet and shifts and Sarah, sitting in the Chevrolet. Hey, Sarah, she's sitting in the Chevrolet. And all day long she sits and shifts, she shifts and sits all day long. Sarah, sitting in the Chevrolet. It's a family show. But then when the idea hit her, ding, she says, got the sheep shearing shed and the sheep shaving shed and all these sheep shearings and sheep shavings are all over the floor and all these shiny shoes and their shiny shoes aren't shiny and we ought to go open Sheboygan. And she went downtown to open the Sheboygan shoe shine shop so people could come in there and shine their shoes. And we said, Sarah, sit in the shoe shine shop. Sarah, sit in the shoe shine shop. And all day long she sits and shines, she shines and sits all day long. Sarah, sit in the shoe shine shop. Now what you should do is step up here and help me sing, and all these people are going to help me sing. And we're going to talk about Sarah's life from the time that she was a little girl swinging on the shed house door to playing in the gravel pit,
So you're gonna
to working at the brick shipyard, and then going to cosmetology school and filing and parting, and then she got her Chevrolet instead, and then she opened the shoe shine shop, and we're going to go from one verse to the next and not stop. Is that right?
Oh sure.
And y'all going to sing too. Because if you don't sing, we know who you are.
I won't be singing because this is a family activity.
Boom, 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 boom. Well, Sarah, swinging on the shed house door. Hey, Sarah, swinging on the shed house door. And all day long she sits and swings, she swings and said all day long. Sarah, swinging on the shed house door. Ah, Sarah, playing in the gravel pit. Yeah, Sarah, playing in the gravel pit. And all day long in the pit she sits in the pit all day long. Sarah, sitting in the gravel pit. Hey, Sarah, working in the brick shipyard. Oh, Sarah, working in the brick shipyard. Well, all day long she bricks and ships, she ships and bricks all day long. Sarah, working in the brick shipyard. Hey, Sarah, working in the beauty shop. Yeah, Sarah, she's working in the beauty shop. Where all day long she files and parts, she parts and files all day long. Sarah, working in the beauty shop. Well, Sarah, sitting in the Chevrolet. Hey, Sarah, sitting in the Chevrolet. Well, all day long she sits and shifts, she shifts and sits all day long. Sarah, sitting in the Chevrolet. Double time, say Sarah, working in the shoe shine shop. Hey, Sarah, working in the shoe shine shop. Where all day long she sits and shines, she shines and sits all day long. Sarah, working in a shoe shine shop. Okay. Now we'll do the full speed, okay? Oh no, that was just the warm-up so you know how to do it. That wasn't it. But yeah, she was an entrepreneur. She was always doing in business. And that, well, you might spit in it. I don't know if I want to. Just wet my whistle. Hold on. There it is. That's okay. It's not my stuff. It's Jack Platty's. Now, maybe two more things before we get out of here. I'll tell another little story too. Down on the farm, out in the country, in the farm, and we live back out in the woods. I got a bunch of kids, a bunch of horses and stuff like that, land and little shed house. But you know, out there we got a lot of other animals out there, and I'm going to tell you a little story about a couple of animals that's out there on the farm. And these animals happen to be snakes. Snakes. You know. And to understand this story, you have to know first a little bit about snakes. I mean, snakes, like us and like most animals, they have an abode. They have a place they live, a place they call home. And snakes live in a pit. Snake pit where snakes live. They live in a pit. And snakes, like us and like most other animals, they have sounds they make and things they do to communicate to one another. And snakes don't talk, though. So snakes, what do they do to communicate? They hiss. That's right. So they live in the pit and they hiss, and sometimes they want to have to hiss in their pit because they won't talk to their pit, and all they want to talk to each other. They hiss in their pit. That's just the thing you do. And these were two snakes, Miss Pitts and Miss Potts. And Miss Pitts and Miss Potts lived next door, had pits next to each other. And Miss Pitts happened to have a small son named Petey. And Miss Pitts one day had to leave the pit. And she told Petey, she said, Petey, I got to go do some things. What I'm doing, you stay in the pit, but I want you to hiss in the pit. If you have to hiss while I'm gone, you go to Miss Potts' pit and hiss in Miss Potts' pit. Don't you be hissing in our pit. And I'll be back shortly. So Miss Pitts called out of her pit, and she called out, and Miss Petey was sitting there in the pit, and pretty soon he felt like he had to hiss. But his mama told him not to hiss in the pit. And if he had to hiss, to go to Miss Potts' pit and hiss in Miss Potts' pit. So Petey crawled out of his pit, and he crawled to Miss Potts' pit, and he began hissing over there. And he was hissing away in Miss Potts' pit. Miss Potts heard the pit hissing in her pit, and she come out. She said, Petey, what are you doing? Petey said, I'm hissing in your pit. Miss Potts said, why are you doing that? Because my mother left her pit, and she said, I couldn't hiss in the pit. And if I had to hiss in the pit, I was call out of our pit and get in your pit and hiss in your pit. And Miss Potts said, Petey, you can't hiss in my pit. If you want to hiss in the pit, you go home and hiss in your own pit. So Petey very sadly crawled out of the pit and crawled back to his pit, and he was in his pit just a hissing in the pit. And Miss Pitts came back home, found Petey hissing in the pit. She said, Petey, I thought I told you not to hiss in the pit. And if you had to hiss in the pit while I was gone, go to Miss Potts' pit and hiss in Miss Potts' pit. He said, I went to Miss Potts' pit. I was hissing in Miss Potts' pit. Miss Potts heard me hissing in her pit. She came out and told me I couldn't hiss in the pit. If I wanted to hiss in the pit, I had to go home and hiss in my own pit. To which Miss Pitts said, why, the nerve of that Miss Potts. I knew her when she didn't even have a pit to hiss in.
Jimmy T, there's any of y'all could do. I couldn't do that stuff, man. He's so nice. He's done it a few times. Yeah. Now, so you make any money on the side for? Well, you know that could be a side business because you know how you become a millionaire to being a caller.
I do know how you become a millionaire being a caller.
You know.
Helps if you start off as a billionaire. Just a matter of weeks you can be a millionaire. I tell you, my wife told me, my wife told my friend, she said, my husband's a square dance caller. And I go, what's a square dance caller? She says, that's the guy who's got a car that's worth $2,000. In the trunk there's a sound system worth $5,000. And he'll drive 892 miles to call a dance that pays him $25. My first question was, who's getting $25?
What do you think, John?
No, you know, but now a lot of people, you know, you have sideline. I do have a sideline business. I have started recently.
Make a little extra money.
I'll get on a serious note for a second here. And this might be a great commercial opportunity to promote my side business. Because you know, in the Spark Dancing, we have the assisted listening devices and the hearing aids a lot of people use. And I've got into that business. And as a matter of fact, I manufacture my own. I have my own manufacturing of hearing what's in that water? Assisted listening devices that you can use at square dances. They're also usable.
Start bringing it earlier.
Also usable at churches or other meetings and auditoriums where you might need to have. They're great because what I manufacture, and I can take special orders while we're here at this convention. I can take orders. They're great. They're a one-size-fits-all. We don't have any frequency problems. Well, they have no batteries. They work with no batteries. They work anywhere you go. They are absolutely suitable. They're dishwasher safe. They can be monogrammed. You can put your name on them. You can have your initials put on them.
That sounds pretty
they
great.
Are.
Are they expensive?
They're not expensive. They're very economical.
A lot of these systems are pretty.
Yeah, no, these are very economical, and we can even fit you for some right here today while you're here. We can show them to you and get you suited, set up for a pair. Guaranteed to improve your hearing. Manufactured myself. Put your initials on them. Put your names on them. You can wear them in the hall. Use them in church. Use them in the auditorium. Anywhere you go. They're great to improve your hearing.
Tim. Tim.
What? Huh? And they have other purposes too.
You don't have to talk.
I have to talk now so I can hear me. I have other purposes because sometimes you may have a set you're dancing and somebody is missing calls because they don't have one, and you can go, why don't you get here in a sense? And they make you look better too. I mean, not look better, see better. You can also. for you callers in the audience, you take them there. They're good mics. They make a good mic stand.
They make a mic stand.
Hello, my honey. Yeah. Very versatile. Folks, thank y'all very much. And if you would like to place an order, you come see me. We'll get you an order before you leave here today. You can have delivery before you go home. On the ground. Thank you.
Timmy Teal is a riot.
Now y'all go to a real dance with real callers.
Appreciate y'all sticking around.
How was that dinner?
Pretty good food. Pretty good food.
If anybody has any scraps left, put them on a plate and hand them to me and Ken. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Oh, you're gonna do the big circle? We'll do the snake. All right. Hiss the pin.